Welcome back to another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football, brought to you by William Hill. And we're back.
We're back, yes.
It's so nice to see you.
And
How are you?
Good Christmas, New Year.
Yes, it feels a long time ago now. But yes, did you?
Well, yes, I went away to Thailand, so I was away out the country, like I mean. So
very nice.
I was watching football at about 2 in the morning and 3 in the morning, like I mean, to stay up with the time difference, you know what I mean? But and then got back and looked forward to getting stuck into the Premier League, which has been interesting over the last the last few weeks or so. So it's panning out like every year why the Premier League is such a great league, while it's the best league in the world, because the unexpected always turns up, doesn't it?
Unpredictable,
And at the bottom, it's the Everton scenario, and at the top is who expected Arsenal to maintain and sustain that position. And actually looking very, very strong, by the way.
We're going to talk in detail about Everton a little bit later. I'm really looking forward to finding out your thoughts on what's going on there, and I'm sure the Everton fans are as well. But let's start off. Introduce us today to who you have brought from your little black book.
Well, 2007, when I arrived at Newcastle, and obviously this man I thought was a legend then, but fans loved him. And of course... my short time there was obviously fraught with some good and some bad. Unfortunately, when I got there, the club got taken over by Mike Ashley, so it went into turmoil. But obviously, we started playing them at Nobby, and then of course I used to hear this trumpet playing, like I mean, and I went, "Who's that?" And they went, "It's Nobby." I said, What's he doing? He said, he's practicing his trumpet. He plays in this band, like in Newcastle, like I mean. So I thought, what a talent, like I mean, on and off the field. So, it was a difficult time for me, and I think the difficult time for the club when it got taken over. But it's great professional. Always give everything he got. Fans loved him, and it's great to see him after all this time again. 2007 was the last time.
Wow. Well, yes,
we are joined. Time flies, like I mean. So, mind you, I have to say, it looks fit enough still to play, doesn't it?
Yes, we are joined by the multi-talented Nolberto Solano today. Thank you so much for coming in and seeing us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm pleased to see Mr. Sam after a long time. So, just back in the country only a couple of weeks. So... very cold as usual, and it's nice to see you. Nice to back to one of the places I'm enjoying very much to play my career here. Football was fantastic, like Sam said before. The Premier League started getting and better. When arriving here, more football now. Not too much direct football, but it's amazing how grow the Premier League. Great players, great managers around. So I'm very proud to be part of the beginning of the Premier League many years ago.
So take us back to 2007. And what was your first impressions when you met Sam?
Well, everything supposed to be new for everyone. The club tried to get back again to the Bobby Robson times when we used to try to reach to be into the Champions League, try to be in the top 4 and the ambition of the club. Maybe a little bit unfortunate for Big Sam. Sam will be the right answer, but maybe catch the team, the players in that time. Okay, some player probably we get a little bit older, and a lot of mix in there. But Sam said was very, when I spoke to him, I remember very, very clarified. So he's building the team. He tried to. It's normal when new manager arrive. He tried to get probably in that time his own players, try to build in the team again. So it was quite difficult, quite tough. As you know, every player will love to play football every week. We still even depend how you are, how you're feeling, but you want to play football every week. So it was a little bit rush in the time. I have, sometimes get involved family situations. So that's why I spoke to the mister in the time and say I want to leave because family situation, plus of course he need to, and the pressure of the manager have. So I have to understand as a professional. I left. I went to West Ham. Well, unfortunately, I would love to always like it to be in Newcastle until finish my career. But football is like that. We need to accept it. And unfortunately, they have not the best time, like he said. But I'm enjoying. I'm saying take the best for every manager. I'm very proud in the football, being under good managers from everywhere, Argentina, Uruguay, English. So now I'm in that side of the football. I'm a coach and learning for everyone. I take the best for everyone. I like his pieces. Takes very long, but but we always learn from that, things like that. So today, like I'm saying, I'm really, really proud to be with all these people in my career.
Newcastle as a club has hugely changed since you were both there. Have you enjoyed watching them this season, Sam?
I enjoyed the impact that the new owners and Eddie Howe had, and I enjoyed the fact that they seemed to have struck up a relatively good relationship between the board and the players. And the most important thing is the board for Eddie, the board to support him, to back him up. And I've been at football clubs that hasn't happened, and it becomes almost impossible to be successful then. And I think that the spend from the new owners in January made Eddie Howe's life a lot easier than it actually was, but still never going to be easy, because they chose the right players. The right players delivered, and if you look at the opposite of that at Everton, they've chose the players that haven't delivered, but the Newcastle players have delivered. And of course, the 200-odd million they spent to stay up was a big risk by the owners, because that could have ended up in the Championship, losing millions and millions of pounds in revenue, and it worked. I think they finished, 10th? 9th, I think? Yeah. And they've moved on from there to become a compact, difficult side to beat, with opportunities to attack the opposition when they're at home, and play very well defensively when they're away. And everything seems to be going in the right direction. And I think that the most important thing for Newcastle fans, without a doubt, is win the Carling Cup.
Win a trophy.
And for Eddie. Because it's been 50 since they won a trophy. I mean, we all talk about the Champions League, but I think for the Newcastle fans, the most important thing, I'm sure nobody would agree with me, is to go and win that cup. And if they go and win that cup, he'll be a legend there.
If they could win the League Cup and qualify for the Champions League, Nobby, I mean, is that realistic, first of all?
Yeah, I think agree what Sam say about Eddie, the club, the player, the fans. You really engage. Soon you engage with them. You show what I'm saying. The Newcastle fans, they are very special. They are very honest. If you give everything, apart from you give everything in the pitch, they're more than pleased. Like it will be very important if you give any trophy. The fans is desperate for any trophy. It's a great opportunity to try to win the cup. So Eddie will have everyone, even myself. Listen, no, we haven't won anything. Just finishing the top 4. I can still going into the town, and people still appreciate what we've done for the club. We have a great times with Shearer, with Bellamy, with Dyers. But like I say, I hope so. They deserve it. They deserve it as a nice people, very, very friendly people. They love so much football. You working during the week, it look like a dessert. Nobody's there. But in the weekend, when they start the matches, it's amazing. I say, where these people came from? Because you can see many people in the street, very cold, very, very, very early, get dark, so things like that. But I think the fans, they'll deserve it. I hope so. Eddie can give it that.
They woke up from the big market, which is in the city, because it's right next to the city.
Right.
St James, it's like you mean. So they all congregate in what's called the big market. Quite a few of them, and then they have to walk up the road, like you mean, and fill the stadium, like you mean. So
if Newcastle win the League Cup, I can only imagine the party that they're going to have. Oh my goodness, I think I'd even like to go to that myself. In terms of Eddie Howe now, you mentioned Sir Bobby before, Nobby. If he wins the League Cup, or if they finish in the Champions League and they continue in this development, and he continues the way he's been developing players, Do you think, could he ever get up to that kind of legendary status that Sir Bobby has?
Well, he did a great job in his career. I've been following a little bit from when he used to start with Bournemouth, things like that. Now it's the next step. Now it's Newcastle. I thought in the beginning probably will be hard and difficult. As some say, he has all the experience in the football. Arrives sometimes to kind of club with much pressure. It's not easy, but he did so far so good. You can tell players respect him. Can tell now he pulled the team together to working really hard. I see Newcastle as a hard team to be because they're working very hard. Maybe they will go slowly, they will build them. I will say the results now in football is a guarantee to you stay quite long. And now it's a shame because in the time maybe some know about now the club stay a little bit more stable. So manager 4 years, 5 years. Now I'm a coach now. I only have 5 months, 3 months. If he's still lucky or some results, but that's football now. That's why very competitive. You see now a lot of foreign managers in this country in the coaching side. So but I think Eddie doing a great job. Fans will love him for sure. It's a good thing. It's another young manager. So if he's still in that way he did it now, I think Newcastle will have a manager for a long period. I hope so. Everything is changed now because owner win one result, and so football is not that simple. You go in this league, very competitive manager, very competitive teams. It's hard in the Premier League to try to win titles season and season. That's why Guardiola is we always say is a blessed manager in the world because he always has a very good size. But he did so well. So I hope so for Eddie, for the club, for the town. Like I said before, people deserve it. So I hope so Newcastle start to bring trophies.
And there seems to have been a wonderful mix of Eddie Howe's ability to develop a player and you say like the ownership and the money that's being spent on new players. If we look at a couple of the South American players, Nobby, obviously Miguel Almiron is having a fantastic season, maybe more quiet in the last couple of games, but it seems like Eddie Howe has really been able to work with him and improve him and bring the best out in him.
Yeah, I will say Almiron, I know quite very well him. We play in the national team. I was working in the national team for 8 years. And of course, he's from Paraguay. I know him when he moved to USA, playing USA. Always will say it's a Premier League stuff for anyone. It's not that simple. Just join in the first season and you can be quite successful. Take a little bit of time to adapt him. But he like I'm saying, this season he's on fire. He's playing much better. He looks more comfortable in the team. No, he's a guy can run. He got his space. It's amazing. So he working really hard. So he look now much more comfortable to play football. So he's a great player. Yeah.
And the fans love him.
Yeah, I start to love him because you like I said some before. If you give everything, your community with the team as a unit working really hard, fans just give you claps. And after that, you do something special in the game. You getting better and better. So. Him, Bruno Guimaraes, another excellent player. Bruno is a guy, is intelligent, Brazilian, quite well how to play in front of the back four, tactical in the tactical way. Very intelligent. He play with the ball. He's very comfortable with the ball. So I think it's whole team doing very well. I'm pleased for him. Now Almiron in this season getting better, score goals. So, I hope so. Start to winning things.
Well, all the players that he inherited are all getting better because you put better players in the squad, then the players already there will get better. The players will look at you as the manager, and you bring new players in, then they'll look at that player and go, who is he? How good is he? And of course, when that player gets on the pitch, he shows his ability and earns the respect of the other players, and the other players think, wow, contrary to what a lot of other people think, that you bring a player in who's going to be on more money than you. Yeah, you do. You have a problem with that. Not really. The problem is as long as he proves he's worth that money, he makes you better by training every day, makes the manager better, makes the club better, and you continue to do that, and then you build something that unites. And of course, the bond in the dressing room is always going to be a constant lookout for the manager on dealing with the so many players that you've got today, on how to keep those 25 players who want to play every week happy. And that's a skill in itself now, and that's going to be, a challenge for every manager the big boys seem to do it, like Pep and Man United have lost that a little bit. But that amount of players is. I mean, I remember at Everton, I had to deal with 35 pros.
Sounds like a nightmare, to be honest.
25 you can only have 25 in the squad. We were leaving 8, 9, 10 pros training on their own or training in the afternoon because there was nowhere to put them. Because you couldn't train 25.
It's hard.
If you're gonna prepare for the next game, you could 25. It was so it's a difficult job.
Well, if Eddie Howe keeps up the man management and the way that he's going, it could be a really successful year for Newcastle.
And he's British, by the way.
Yes.
I have to stick up. I have to stick up for the Brits.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I have to stick up for them.
What's your prediction for Newcastle this season then, from both of you?
I think it'd be absolutely outstanding if they finish in the top 4, but I think they'll finish in the Europa League.
Okay. Nobby?
Yeah, I'm agree with what I'm saying. I'm similar. I'm the same. Newcastle is which is a lot of games to play now from the league games. So, but if Newcastle finish, like I say, in the European places, that will be fantastic. That's the next steps. But it's a great opportunity to win that trophy. I know that maybe they have to play Southampton, like he said at the moment. Both Southampton is not the best place in the league. They're maybe a little bit worried if he's still in the competition, or you sometimes never know what's the manager thought in these times, because it's tough moments. But it's a great opportunity for Newcastle to try to get that trophy in this season.
Okay, I feel like Newcastle fans would be happy with that. In terms of, if you were to bring one player into Newcastle in this window to improve them, what one player? Oh, I know, I'm taxing you, Sam. We're back, and I'm asking you the toughies.
I got 2 already.
Nobby's got 2.
I should have looked at Sky Sports news on the transfer centre before I come in this morning.
The rumour mills. Well, I'll go to Nobby first while you have a think.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, I've been watching follow a little bit. Say maybe Newcastle with Harry Kane and Son in the black and white. I don't know what's gonna happen.
There you go. Okay.
What? Harry Kane,
yeah, and Son. Nobby's like fight. He's like taking both.
Yeah, that'd be about 500 million. That.
Yeah, I know.
Every half a billion.
But somebody told me they can go cash.
Right, plenty of cash. Yeah. Well, they would finish in the Champions League.
How old is he now, Harry?
29, I think.
Oh, still young. Yeah. Still young.
And his goals again.
Phenomenal
he always
goals.
gets questioned when he goes about 4 or 5 games about. He's got dodgy ankles, and has he gone off the boil? And
well, they did that with Erling Haaland after 3 games, didn't they?
Like, I mean that. Well, talking about him, I haven't seen a pure goal scorer. Probably we don't see a pure goal scorer, but Aguero or Michael Owen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shearer.
Yeah. Shearer, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he falls into that line, doesn't he? But even bigger. Because what is it, 30 plus now?
I think it's 25 in the Premier League, Sam. We're only halfway through. So, you got a player in mind?
No.
That's Nobby gave you 2, so you can share.
I'm not so sure you can get one from your nearest competitors. And I'm not so sure it's right to. You can buy another player from abroad, but your job is very difficult to settle them in and play in the Premier League straight away and be successful. So later down the line, they might be absolutely brilliant, because obviously they get judged very quickly. You spend 60, 70, 80 million, put him in the Newcastle side, he has 2-3 bad games, and it's all of a sudden it's a waste of money. Yeah. And the manager comes under pressure for that. Yeah, 18 months down the line, he's one of the best players, because it sometimes takes them, not just him, but the family, that long to settle. To get the right house, the right schools, get comfortable, and you know what I mean. So there's far too many quick judgments on transfers, particularly when you bring a player from abroad. Not that it shouldn't take the risk if he thinks it's the right player.
Yeah. Right, Sam, it's time to get into the juicy stuff.
Oh, juicy.
I wondered if we were going to be here filming this today, because I thought maybe you might have been off on a trip to South Wales, because you've been heavily linked with the Cardiff job.
I keep getting these calls, and I am not going to Cardiff, and I haven't been approached by Cardiff to even have a conversation with them. So we can, for the first time, and everybody can listen to this, I put that right. No, I'm not going down to Wales, and I'm staying up here in the northwest.
Okay, so we got an exclusive there. He's not been approached by Cardiff, not going to Cardiff, staying in the northwest. Does that mean you're going to Everton?
Everton, if I was going to Everton, they'd have already rang me. I know Farhad Moshiri, I have a lot of respect for him, and certainly the money he's found for Everton. Obviously not, as I said, not invested like Newcastle have invested. They've invested in players that haven't delivered. Through various different managers. I only bought 2 when I was there, but I still hold up to my achievement, because it was the best. You know what I mean? From 16th, 17th to 8th in 22 matches. And so what they need is, somebody that can go in and get the team functioning correctly straight away. And contrary to all the negativity that goes about, all Sam did was talk about defending. Yeah, it's true in the beginning, because they'd conceded more goals than anybody else. And that's why they're bottom. That's why they're bottom of the league. So if you don't sort that out, you can ask any. You ask me. You can ask any striker. And of course, Everton struggle for a goal scorer now. So they have to concentrate on clean sheets, because without clean sheets, they're not, the way they're going, they're not going to win a game. Because at the other end, the only real goal scorer they've got is Calvert-Lewin. Mopé hasn't worked, so it's very difficult. You're looking at just trying to get your 1-0 wins, but those clean sheets will be all important to Everton's survival.
I feel like they snap your hand off for an 8th place finish now as well, Sam. Like, absolutely snap your hand off for that.
Well, I can't go that far, but it was politics. It wasn't what I'd done. It was politics behind the scene that above that got rid of me. Not the fact that what I'd achieved and what we'd done there. Because I still speak to Big Dunk, who's here. Everton through and through.
Do you think he could do it? Would he?
Of course he could do it, but he's tried so long to be given that opportunity, because he stepped in as a caretaker manager that long. He got fed up of it and thought he'd better try and break away and find a new career somewhere else. So I'll be out with him and Sammy quite soon, actually. So for lunch.
Oh goodness!
Sammy's turn to buy as well.
Good luck to that restaurant with the 3 of you. A name that is being linked, Nobby, fellow South American, of course, Marcelo Bielsa, being linked with the Everton job. Could he save them? Do you think he would be a good fit?
Well, he's still one of the great managers in the world. He's very, very, we will call him the crazy Marcelo. Is because his passion in the football is very, he shows with Leeds what he can do. But I don't know if he will enjoy now, because he's the guy to building his own team, he has to building his ideas. I don't think so. He will just stray away. He will take it now with everything what's going on in the club. He probably working in the club with all the stable things. Well, like every manager wish to have a very stable situation. At the moment, Everton is really hard for anyone to join. So I believe if the players get together, because they have some good players. I see Everton scored the other day, and they have a no bad team. They could do better. I hope so. When they get together, working hard together, they got all the chances to get away from that situation.
Look at the managers Everton have had.
Phenomenal managers.
Including me. But yes, they've had... But so-called Benitez, they've had Carlo Ancelotti. You know what I mean? So it's not the managers.
So what are they going to do
Ronald Koeman, myself, I can do Premier League all day long. I can do it in my sleep. So it's got to be that structure, that infrastructure that they haven't got right, and that's why the club. I was listening to Alan Stubbs about Everton, about how passionate he is for it, about about this and about that. But, Farhad Moshiri is the owner. Farhad Moshiri's found huge amounts of money. Imagine how disappointed he must feel about the trust he's put in people, because he didn't know a lot about the structure of football when he arrived. Mike Ashley didn't know a lot about the structure. He learnt over the first 2 or 3 years, and even that cost him a few managers, and he got the club how he wanted to run it, and they stayed in the Premier League. Now, he got a lot of stick for that, but he only committed the amount of money that Newcastle made. That wasn't good enough for the fans, but that was what he was, like you mean. So, but it did run efficiently, and finally it's passed on to somebody else, like you mean. So, Everton at the moment just have to have the sad thing is that how much is the team worth for what it's spent on it? Mm-hmm. And this is where you fall into a big problem about re-spending again, because you can't. Man City made a profit this summer on transfers. So they actually took more money in than they actually spent.
And we bought Erling Haaland.
And when was the last time we heard about that? The value of Everton players now and what they've spent on them to what they might get to fund new players. Obviously, we've got to get rid of this squad and get a new one. It's virtually impossible at Everton now because of the financial restrictions.
Can they be saved then if a manager comes in now?
The right manager can save them, but he's to forget about all the surroundings. He's to shut it off. He's to get the players to put their earphones on and not listen to the white noise.
If they asked you, would you?
They're not going to ask me, because if they were, they would have already done it. So I think that you shut the place down and close the shop up. Impossible to do that with all the media and all that, but as much as you possibly can, and focus the players, the first team squad. You pick your first team squad and nothing else matters. Just the preparation for the next game and you'll need to have a real battle to get out of the problems that they're suffering and get the results that's needed to keep Everton up. But it can be done with that squad. It can be done because they are good enough. I believe they're good enough anyway.
Another one of both your former clubs that are struggling at the minute is West Ham, perhaps surprisingly to quite a few people, Nobby. What do you make of the job that David Moyes is doing in the struggle that West Ham are having this season?
Well, it sounds sometimes strange because he did a fantastic job last season, how players he started not that well, but finished very well. Everybody was happy. Moyes has more experience than all the coaches in the Premier League. So football changed so much. I believe football is hard. It's very hard to get the right answer, because he's having the same score. I don't think so. Moyes will change his training session, anything like that. Now how the team get down, so it's hard to know the answer. But he got experience enough to bring it back again. That team spirit is very important to the players. Don't lose the ambition to carry on the working hard. Because sometimes we are ready. Well, I'm not playing anymore, but players, sometimes we get into comfortable situations when happen things with the managers. We in the clubs start to sack managers. Players start to get away from that pressure. Oh, not my fault. It's the manager's fault. So I believe they need to be more supportive to the managers right now in these games, because it's not that easy, it's not that simple. Players don't need to lose the hunger to win things or to try to be there. And unfortunately, they have a very bad time, very bad period. The players, they showed before they can do much better, and now they're not doing well, but I hope so. Well, I hope so he got the experience enough to get away from this situation.
I think that Moisey can turn it around.
He's my mate. I think that we've known each other since the Preston days when he came as a player and I was a youth team coach. So I've known him up. We sit together on the LMA board or committee, try and help our fellow managers, certainly in the lower divisions, of course. And of course, he's deep, he's methodical, a very deep thinker. And I think that sadly, like I was talking about before, the pressure comes on you when you spend that sort of money that's never been spent before. And sadly, those players haven't delivered what was expected. So when you had such a great season last season and you get, was it 130 million spent? Was it third or fourth biggest spenders in the Premier League? It's very important for you as a manager for those players to work, and they haven't. Now that may be because of being transferred in from another country. It's settling in period, so he has to get over this period of them not performing to what was expected by David, by the fans, by the owners, and obviously it's a delicate position. They are still in Europe and haven't lost a game. So they are.
I got a feeling about the players now getting too much toll from the agents. I feeling the football change. Well, I don't want to compare myself, but you sometimes when you join one club, you try to be longer you can. Most time you can enjoy in the club you are go. But now at the moment it looks like too much influence outside the football. If you're doing one good season now, you go crazy and then I need to go somewhere else. Give me players deserve what you want, but lost a little bit the passion, the love to be in the club or be pleased with the club, give you the opportunity, the chance to you build your career. So that's why maybe happen this thing with the players now. That's why play one good season so well and the next season not really done well. So it's expecting to move so quick from the.
Now, Nobby, you were so loved by the fans of the clubs that you played for your heart, for your passion, but also for your set pieces. So we wanted to have a chat about some of the best set piece takers in the Premier League at the minute. Get both your thoughts on them, and then I'm going to challenge you to order them from 1 to 5. They're all great, so it's going to be tough.
I want to ask him a question first.
Oh, yes.
So was it the practice you did in training, or was you had the capabilities on the day to find a way to score a goal off a set piece?
Well, I was lucky. I would say I was blessed for God to have the talent. And after that, the practice makes you better and better. That's only the reason, especially when I was feeling in the team, I was playing all the time. I'm a very important part of the team in the set pieces. So. Yeah. Especially here in England, have a huge guys and everybody want to head the ball. So the practice make you better and better. And I was very, very lucky to have the talent and concentrate a lot because, it's important in the game when sometimes the games are really close. Set pieces decide sometimes some results. So I was very lucky to have a very good people in the air like Alan, Gary Spiegel, bless him, and Nikos Avisas in the time. But I think it's very important. I saw in England very good set pieces players. I got a few in my head already.
I wonder if they're on my list. I bet they are. So the first one, let's have a quick chat about James Ward-Prowse. Obviously, we mentioned Southampton already, difficult season they're having in the semi-final of the League Cup, though. What do you make of him with his set pieces?
Well, he's all the time the boy I was watching and seeing him for a long time. He's very good. I like the style. He's the way he's sitting. You can see in the way when he take it's very 100% sure what he wants to do. It's very good technique. I like his technique. He's very, very good player.
You rate him, Sam?
Oh, from a set piece point of view, I'm not so sure there's anybody better. I mean, it's not just the goals he scores from the free kicks, just either on the edge of the box or just outside the box he bends in. It's the wide free kicks and the corners. I would be spending a lot of time as the opposition manager, trying to combat.
I remember. Plenty times.
Very times, yeah. and I think that it's probably one of the strongest strengths Southampton have to stay up on the goals that come from Ward-Prowse, just on his corners, his wide free kicks and his free kicks in front of goal. That would be a big percentage of. I think their goals probably might be a greater percentage than the national percentage, which actually is running. Last time I saw it, which is not this season, but last time I saw it last season, it was about 32% of the goals are set pieces. That's a huge amount in a season, and I reckon his club are probably higher than that. Because if you put a set piece in, see, I always counted a set piece goal as if a set piece come in. And it didn't score direct, but it got blocked and dropped down and he scored. Mm-hmm. That's a goal from a set piece, because it's only one interception and then be followed up and it's a goal. So I think that's that. And obviously he's built his reputation on it. So you build your reputation. There's a fear from other teams and other managers, like I said, they've been on the trend now forward. And I'd be saying, don't give free kicks away on the edge of the box. Stay on your feet. Stay on your feet. Yeah, don't give corners away. Give throw-ins away if you can, and try it. First, I'll be talking about limiting that. Other ward pros, I'll be doing this, and then I'll just show, like early on in the week, I'll show about 3-4 of his deliveries and saying this is what you have to defend against. So don't do it. Stop it at source. You know. Most of the time they go on the pitch and forget about it. But never mind. What did the manager say? Oh.
So we rate him. Someone else that I rate really highly at the minute, one of these players that we've talked about from Newcastle that Eddie Howe seems to have just have a great relationship with, Trippier.
I met him last week when I went to see the match Leicester City. First time, I never saw him alive in person. I didn't realize how small he was. I mean, I thought I will be smaller than him, but we quite. But great, fantastic technique. He's a great player. He strikes the ball so well. I was talking to Alan in the box when we were watching the match together. He said, "Nobby, you will enjoy with him play behind you." Of course, we play with that technique. With that, you can do a lot of overlaps and a lot of situations. We have in that time Laurent Robert. This one with his left foot. He wonderful left foot. This is why we share the free kicks. He can strike the ball as well, so powerful and put in the net. But Trippier is a fantastic player. I like him very much.
Yeah, I like him in my fantasy team as well. By the way, he's phenomenally scoring in that.
It was a slip away for Man City letting him go, wasn't it? Because that's where he started, and then Man City, Burnley, Tottenham. You know.
I know we've had quite a few incredible players.
Atletico Madrid.
I know.
Won the league. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Won the league that year before he came back. So wonderful
very good
career.
Fullback, England. Yeah. I'm very impressed with the boy from Liverpool. I forgot his name.
Trent
Alexander.
He's next on my list. Nobody read my mind.
Oh my God, I never see somebody cross the ball, strike the ball this well. England has a fantastic fullbacks. Him, World Cup, amazing. Good choice for Southgate. Difficult choice because they have so many quality players in the bench.
We've talked about Trent a few times on the podcast in terms of defending, Sam, but should we just focus on the set pieces for him? What do you think?
Well, I know Pep's played, Jurgen's played him in midfield before now. And I just wonder whether he can actually go there and be great, which wouldn't bring up the defending side as much. Because he's certainly got the touch, and he's got the. I know it's harder in there because everything's going on around you, rather than full back on the wider. Because that side there's no problem, because he's just a touchline, but in the middle of it. But he is such a talent. But unfortunately, he had to take a lot of stick, and I think it knocked his confidence. So, but yeah, I think that he's one of the best fullbacks in the country without a doubt, and certainly his set pieces are there to be admired, you know. But if he loses his confidence, he probably loses that little bit of edge on his set pieces as well, because it's a very difficult skill putting that ball in those areas. You can often find that the only target area is only about this big, because when you see it going in, you see it going just past the fingertips of the goalie. So if it's another 5 or 6 inches this way, the keeper's going to tip it. If it's another 2 or 3 inches, it's going to hit the post. So it's very, very. There's not a big area.
You have to a little bit bluff as well, no, with the keeper.
Yes.
So what I'm doing in my time is just pretend to show to I will go and cross the ball. I will put the ball in the box, something like that. So you make a little bit confused the keeper. So when you have to strike, you have to, like some say, put in the top in the corner. The keeper. It's very hard. I remember my first goal when I moved to here. I didn't much know about Peter Schmeichel. My first season, 98 in here. I knew, I know more him when I just arrived in the country, and my first goal was similar like that. Huge guy went there, touched a little bit with the fingers, but the ball hit the post and go in. But it's really tough because you have a huge goalkeeper here, very long arms, tall. You have to be right in the spot because you know they will get it because they're really, really tall, really. big keepers to make a save.
Your first goal in England was against Peter Schmeichel.
Was in the free kick.
For the free kick?
Yeah, because it was against Wimbledon in the game. But when we played Man United, I remember it was Peter Schmeichel. I didn't know much about him, how big he was in here, and after few months later, oh my God, I was so proud.
No wonder. Yeah. So, next man on our list. So, fourth on my list is Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh. Yes, he's very, very good. He's very, very good, isn't he? Everywhere. All out, every part of his game is very, very good. And I think that before we talk about how good he is on set pieces, we talk about how many goals he's made for it.
And I think he's on 11 assists this season, I think.
He just, it's like an instant relationship, innit, with him. You know, he looks up and he goes, well, he'd like me to just play that ball there, and he'll head it in, and he does. So I think that he's done more assists, like you said, and been more, because there had to be a lot of change at Man City for him. Like I mean, but as in his set pieces, yeah, very good. But there's one or two more, isn't there, that like try and get on a set piece at Man City. It's not just him, is it?
Mahrez had a cracker.
You know what I mean? He has to elbow him off, doesn't he? Saying,
wait for your chance.
Yeah, so he's very good.
He's an amazing player. I don't need to ask him if he can cook. He do everything. I think he can cook and build a house or things like that, because he's a perfect player. I believe it's the dream for any manager. I like it because you see his body language in the pitch. He gives everything. He has everything. Whatever he think, the ball's gone. He's pass. He can assist and can strike the ball. So he's a complete player. No,
big mistake by Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yes, we
letting him go.
Yeah,
he was in Chelsea. I didn't realise.
Yeah,
it's Chelsea. Yeah,
and then I think he went to Wolfsburg, and then
happened to Salah.
Yeah,
well. But sometimes players
Salah
happen like this in football. Sometimes need a little bit of time to adapt in whatever you go. Sometimes too much pressure. Just join to big clubs,
especially when you're young.
Exactly.
There was a £60 million flop headline that we always like to bring out every now and again when he's had a cracking game. And the final player on my list, Bruno Fernandes. How do we rate him for his set pieces?
Yeah, he's another, what we say, magic player. You know, he's an intelligent player with the ball. He can, like you say, it's the same, can bend. Can thinking before we strike to the goal, or we'll do some trick before now happen now in the free kicks, because the wall get, I don't know if the players getting bigger and bigger and more difficult. The only thing I don't understand, why they still putting the guy in behind the wall, the guy landing in there.
Well, it's
what do they call that game?
We call
draft excluder.
Yeah,
it's whether,
we call
this is how stupid football is.
Yeah.
Right, this is how stupid it is. One goal got scored. I can't remember another goal being scored. One goal got scored because Ronaldo, the wall jumped,
Messi,
and they put it under the wall and it went in.
Ronaldo.
And everybody, lots and lots of still put. Well, just get. I mean, all I do is get the biggest players in the wall and ask them to stand on the toes.
Yeah.
And that's as much as you can do. You know, you're wasting a player.
Yeah.
Who's lying on the floor behind you.
I like it when someone's lying there and someone else just grabs their ankles and pulls them into position.
You know, so it is a bit silly, but some people keep to think. Another influence in the game that's impressing, that's creeping in, is a set piece coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, set piece coach. Liverpool had one.
Was that not
England had one? No, we did our own. We came together and did our own. We never had a set piece, just a set piece coach, which is throw-ins, corners, free kicks. You know what I mean? So
because getting too many people in the box now,
you know, that's
it's hard to get now for the people take the free kicks. It's hard to get the ball in the spot, because now you go people in zone and people has to mark. So especially huge lads, where you put the ball, it's getting hard. That's why probably they try to improve with 2 touch now. They don't go direct anymore.
Yeah,
try to play 2 times before put the ball in the box. But I can still believe that guy in the wall in the back. That's Ronaldinho scored in that time. Was I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah.
I never see again somebody score when the wall jumping and somebody go through to the wall. But well, like I say, I don't know. Yes.
Giving us some entertainment.
It's paranoia by the coaches.
yeah.
That's what it is. It's paranoia, thinking that it's embarrassing them if one goes under the wall and it goes in the back of the net. So let's put somebody there. I'm sure the player loves it who gets picked for that.
Right, I'm going to ask you to order them from number 1 to number 5. 1 being the best set piece taker.
You've got
from
it there
those
now.
5. James Ward-Prowse?
It's there now, all of that.
Are you having that 1 to 5?
I am.
Ward-Prowse, Trippier, Alexander-Arnold, De Bruyne, Fernandes.
Well, no, I changed De Bruyne for Alexander. Is it Alexander?
Yeah, you put De Bruyne 3rd?
3rd, yeah.
What do you think, Nobby?
Yeah, the player that was a draw for Southampton.
Yep.
That's the first.
Number 1.
De Bruyne
Okay.
and Alexander.
Okay. So you're having James Ward-Prowse, Kevin De Bruyne,
Yeah.
and then Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I need to check how many goals he scored.
Yeah.
He scored more goals because maybe we run. I don't know how many goals in set piece he has.
It's a difficult. As good as they are, it's actually a difficult chance to get. I think if anybody's free kicks on the edge of the box, I think that I would only assess it by the amount of goals that scored from their set plays, not just direct.
Yes.
So outside the edge of the box, it's very difficult to score more than 5 or 6 or 7 a season. If you're doing that, you're on top of your game. You know what I mean? So I'd always add in how many goals have been created by his corner, his wide free kick, and
I think I'm born at the wrong time.
I think the Newcastle fans would agree as well. Yeah.
I've been 5, maybe in some team.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great return.
Yeah. Definitely. Right. Love that. Thank you. So we're agreed that James Ward-Prowse is number 1. We're agreed that Bruno Fernandes is number 5 in a great list of 5. And 2, 3 and 4 were just jiggling between us a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll have that.
Well, I just don't know enough of what I'm seeing from Fernandes to see whether it would be creeping up that list. We'll find out in the future.
Well, hopefully not, but yeah. Now, before we finish up today, Nobby, Sam mentioned it right at the start about this fame you have for the trumpet playing. Can you tell us about your time in Newcastle and the trumpet playing?
What happened is when I moved to England, my first time, I remember my first day in the new house. I was in the hotel for a month. But soon I moved to my house. I was listening every afternoon. I have a neighbor from USA, I think. They have 3 kids. So they was playing the flute, saxophone, and trumpet. So I like it. Well, I love it because before I start playing football professional, I used to play in my school band, a trumpet. So that's why I've stopped for a long time because I'm dedicating myself to play football. But also I thought, okay, we have plenty time in here. It's too dark, too early here, 3, 4 o'clock. I need to do something in the afternoons. So I bought my trumpet again. So I asked my neighbor who has a teacher. So I found out who was the teacher to have lessons again because I forgot about it. I read music. I cannot play through the ears, things like that. I need to read the music and play. So I'm started to have lessons 2 a week, 3 times a week. The teacher used to play in the Newcastle Symphonic. I'm very, very proud to have a teacher like that. So I'm started learning. I started to play the trumpet. So some days when I have an injury, everything changed now. Everybody, you go injured in the time, you go in bed, have to wait for half an hour, 45 minutes to get attention. And now everything changed. Now the staff is growth, but I used to bring in the training ground. So that started with Bobby. But Bobby didn't realize I played the trumpet. But Bobby before start every training session every day, pull all the team together to have a talk. One another day in the training ground, hiding. I would just blow, and Bobby started looking. Nobody said it was me. I just blow it. Are you funny? Are you funny? And then that was me. I blow the trumpet. And I like it. It's a passion. And always we have 2 things in football. We are very privileged to have this career. Very proud. And we have plenty time because we only training until 2 o'clock, and the rest of the days, sometimes the days get longer. Especially I was foreign, not living here, not much family around, so I need to do something to get distraction. But my passion, I love music. I like music. I have in my band, a little bit salsa band.
Do you still play now? Yeah.
No. We stopped for a long time. But I like music. I love music.
Amazing, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Love that. And thank you for being here today. We really, really appreciate your time. It's been lovely,
Brilliant.
Sam.
Thanks.
No, it's very nice.
Great to see you.
It's great to see you again. Big Sam.
Big Sam, yes.
All the best.
All the best. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam. Thank you for your time.
See you again next time, eh?
We'll be back next week.
Next week, yeah.
We will. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football, brought to you by William Hill.